Welcome back to The Devil in Detail, the Grendel reread podcast. I'm Eli.
And I'm Ben, and today we're going to be doing Grendel ongoing series number 27. It's chapter 4 of God and the Devil, and it's our 76th episode of the Devil in Detail podcast.
Nice.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Ben. Good to be back. Been a minute. Thanks everyone for coming back and joining us again here on The Devil in Detail. So Ben, what have we been up to? What are we talking about? What are we covering today?
We're talking about with the story's called Devils Everywhere, but before we get into it, we need to give shout outs because it's Bernie week here at the podcast.
Bernie week.
Week. Not only is Bernie inking the guest inker on this issue over JKS III, but Bernie also released a bunch of jam collections through About Comics. Take it away, Eli. All right.
Boom, 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 boom. The new jam is out. Urban Adventure. Super cool color injected turbo adventure from hell number 2. You can get yours on, it's straight on Amazon internationally. You can get it anywhere. Fine Amazon products are sold, and that is everywhere. It's print to order. It looks great. It feels good. I enjoyed it. That's but I really like the colors and like where Bernie's going with all this stuff, and it's fun.
One of my absolute favorite bin diving finds of my life, maybe a dozen years ago. Jam supercharged turbo injected color Kimiko special from Hell number 1.
Yeah,
I saw it. I had no idea that it was by Kirby Hero, and it was just like, wow, it really opened up my eyes in the same way that seeing Mage as a younger man did. Right. Well done, Bernie.
Yeah, man, I interviewed Mike Allred back in the day, and that's what he said was his favorite comic. Look at this Calic coming up here. Hello.
Wild. Not to get too crazy about Bernie, who takes a lot of John's work and does kind of like almost like an anime Murakami flattening effect on it.
Right.
But we got to give shout outs to Jay Geldof, not in his delinquency of the inking duties, which he was very shame 35 years ago. I was talking to Jay, and I said, I think statistically you've worked on the most pages throughout the saga. Like Brennan will eventually overcome you, but he's still getting there.
Yeah. And
he was very regretful that he was unable to meet this in the other issue. That not because of Bernie, I think, but because he loved the title so much. Good on you, Jay.
What happened? Did he say why he wasn't on this issue?
I think he said he wasn't. Right? I think he said he wasn't fast enough. Yeah. He comes back for every issue except for maybe 2 more that Bernie comes in.
Maybe they were like, all right, yeah, we'll give you a break on this one. You get started on the next one. I mean, it's probably tough too because we're coming off the one that he inked or he penciled, and that J.K. Snyder.
Oh, that's right. Oh, interesting.
So that might be
another bit of it.
Yeah, he needed a little break. It's not easy. It's not easy drawing these comics, man.
Speaking of comics that are not easy, let's Grendel. Let's Grendel now. Nothing else.
Two in the box, ready to go. Any fast, any slow. Yeah. Vivat Grendel. It's like the devil is my best friend. On the roads with the pen to the fork end, or till time end. Like Orion, Jupiter, my kin, bloodline private. We control the whole shit. The wolf won't beef, then we feast off the rip. Behold the devil in detail. Behold the devil in detail.
All right, we're back. Thanks again for that great intro, Manus and Laserdisc. Always good, always different, always new. They're always live in the studio to perform it live each and every episode. Thanks again, guys.
Thanks, guys.
All right, so we're back. We got another one of these wraparounds here going on.
This one really hit me when I got the effect of the full panel in the bottom left of the wraparound, and you see Sister Aimee with all of her. She's got a victim that you can't see.
Yeah, this cover too really struck me because I felt like I hadn't seen it before. It's the orange. It's the I feel like every other one is kind of like cool colors, greens and blacks and blues and stuff to kind of go with Eppy. But this one's really bright and orange. And I mean, because this one is the opposite. This is the torture chamber.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what this central, it looks like a necklace is. It's got like tarot cards woven into the chain, and also dice in the chain. So there's images of the four main avatars of this series. The more I think about it, the more I feel like, and we'll get into this more throughout the issue, that because it's Orion's story for the next, Orion's story and legacy for the next 50, 60, 100 issues.
Yeah.
That Eppy is really kind of like, Eppy is sort of like under the umbrella of Orion as a literary and historical figure. Like he almost belongs to him.
They're both agitating the world that is like in existence, and their upcoming and their rise and fall, as we're seeing, it's all like part and parcel of the downfall of like this Pope Innocent.
There you go, man.
XLII. So we open up here in a bizarre spread. A spread.
Yeah, it's the same bizarre that we saw earlier. Now, was it the last issue that Sharon was at a riot,
right?
A Muslim
he said it was
riot
5 days
in
ago.
Los Angeles. Yeah, and when I went from that into this, my main thought was, I think one thing that this story is lacking sometimes is really, really wide establishing shots, because that riot and this bazaar look like this. It's the same setting practically, because there's nothing that says, okay, now we're in LA versus, okay, here's were they Denver?
Yeah. You think that she died in LA, or was it here?
I thought he sent her to LA.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying, is that it's
they have
confusing
bazaars in
because
other cities, kind of, but this is the main one.
I don't even think. Oh, I guess so. Yeah, so she was buying the watermelon. That's right. So it was. I found that a little strange.
Right.
And here we are. The last time Orion was here, he bought church-sponsored soap on a rope, like Christ soap on a rope.
Yeah.
And now they're just kind of bringing that back up. That
the guy over there selling toilet paper, Pope Innocent toilet paper. Same guy I bought the soap from. And I love all the detail in here and all the little stuff. The Grendel charm still in stock. The Last Supper foodery, all you can eat. Really funny. Save me.
Is that anti Grendel charms that gets cropped out?
Ooh, hey, you might be right. Yeah, it's gotta be.
Might be that's gone.
I was like, dang, man, I want a Grendel charm.
Yeah, right. I think I really like these like sentry robots.
Right, me too.
This is the place on this splash where I think you can see Bernie kind of coming through.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, and I think we'll point that out a few times throughout, because we're both so well versed in Bernie's work.
Oh yeah.
I think I mean that. I feel like I am.
No, I agree. It's just funny. It's just funny because everyone that knows it is like, oh, that's obviously some of the best stuff ever to come out of Canada, ever to come out of the 80s. Like,
well, shout out Fred in the Grendel group. He seems like an amazing collector. He posted that original art. He got that Bernie original art page that I put up on our Instagram at GrendelCast. If you like, check it out.
Very cool. Do you have any other shout outs to give? I think I steamrolled your shout outs.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I did have one more shout out, and that is to our friend David Jacoy over in Hungary, who is the proud owner of a new zine. I send it over to Hungary, so we'll see how long it takes to get there. He was hungry for some Gremlin, so he's got it coming.
There you go.
All right, cool. So they're in the bazaar.
Normal day in the bazaar, and
he had to bring them
spurs on the turn page. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. Right on the turn page. There's some lasers coming down. The bots are fried. They're falling right down towards Orion and the sisters. And then we hear the booming voice of one Eppy Thatcher, Grendel, sinners, lechers, brethren. And then they were about to leave, but they finally got there like face to face. This is what Orion wanted. He wanted to see this Grendel and stare him right in his Grendel eyes.
Yeah, this scene really reminds me of like a Marvel Comics superhero origin of Orion.
Oh yeah.
Right? Because like he's the only one trying to do the right thing the right way.
Yes.
And there's a lot of like road to hell being paved in good intentions.
That's
and
always
Eppy is this very like formative, it seems like Orion, I'd say he's in his mid 30s or his early 40s, but like it's still he's got a long way to go, and Eppy is really a major figure in the rest of his life.
Exactly. Yeah. In spurring him forward to make the changes and moves that he does. I love the Pander-esque breaking of the thing here with the everlasting savings and trusting. And
this is the 3-point perspective gold medal, John Snyder.
Yes, very good. And
really good there.
I mean, it looks like Eppy points directly at Orion, and he's saying this stuff: harlots, money, slugs. And Orion's like, I needed to experience this in person, and here's Eppy spouting his manifesto type shit.
Yeah. COP shows up and starts blasting away, and he stabs him and throws him and sets off the plastique and goes wild.
What an amazing, that's a super awesome, again, shout out Joe Matt as always, super cool, super amazing. And
it kind of looks like a V for Vendetta panel when they would do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When they would add that goofy color. Yeah.
It's all explosion. And then we see Pelin Cross, and this is, when Orion notices that, like, okay, COP is like, they're really on the scene here. Yeah. And that's another very Bernie-esque panel, the shading in the eyes and stuff, I believe.
Turn the page. You know who else saw Pelin Cross in this panel?
Eppy Thatcher.
Frank Miller.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
That's like absolutely a Sin City panel from like 3, 4, 5 years later. Yeah.
Sure. He's blasting off. He's blasting a few rounds into Eppy, hits him right in the shoulder. Doesn't matter. Right wing, left wing, warrior of God. He's coming at him. He has this flag he breaks off. He's got his fork under his arm. He thrusts, he lunges, throws that. Pelin like just barely misses it, and Eppy escapes. Boom.
Orion had the distinct feeling that they let him get away.
They know a little bit more about him, and they fled, not away, but higher. And that's always like a thing in science fiction and future stuff. It's like the Drek is at the street level, and they just keep building into the sky. Even as surface as the Jetsons. But then even, into Total Recall or Fifth Element, they are always building up into the sky.
Yeah, it's funny though, because this sky bar doesn't look that high, and the these are like 3-story buildings. So it's kind of a funny, it's like a very direct like piece of production design, but it's not like designed to the nines, as it were.
Right. It kind of, you know what? It seems like the bar that's at the LAX airport, where it's just like it's like one room that I don't even think they use now. Have you seen that? Oh, you're not even coming into LAX.
I'm not coming in. I'm coming in.
Oh yeah, Ben is still coming here.
Yeah,
it's amazing. We're gonna be doing a lot of great stuff. So keep up in the next couple of weeks for some live events, live episodes on YouTube, and more fun stuff from Devil Detail.
This is where Orion has a very interesting thought. He realizes that COP and the church, who he's now fighting, are the 2 largest non-corp organizations in the world. And so it's like they both have special powers and loopholes and don't give a fuck about the board and its rules and its intersystem bureaucracy. And they're just sort of like taking advantage and like clawing their way up to the Grendel top to get each other's.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. And immediately it's the next morning now, and immediately the what does he say, the grunts are working and cleaning stuff up, picking up these Pope action figures, and they're cleaning up, and the Pope is pissed. We forgot to say that Orion is in town because he has another
another meeting with the Pope.
With the Pope.
The last time the accountant wasn't being forthright, and when Orion tells this to Innocent, he goes, "Oh my goodness, I'll have him flogged and
he will
straighten him. We'll get him, exactly what you need right away." Okay. His mandral's great in this scene.
Love it. Well, also Orion is saying that he's taking everything he's saying and kind of making light of it. He's making, pithy comments, and he's kind of just kind of being shitty about it until Orion, Orion is instigating and nudging him particularly. He's like aiming to do so. So He gets pissed at
Yeah.
him and the mandrel.
He gets
freaking-
pissed. He jumps out of his floating chair and it rockets up into the
Yeah,
ceiling.
it was like counterweighted, and when he jumps off, it goes
So weird.
It's great.
And I love this mandrel. It looks like Tattoo Flash, the when it snarls at him.
Oh yeah.
On page 7, panel 1.
Yep. And
Very
he's like,
cool.
oh man. Okay. And so, he's pissed off now. He pushed him to the edge. And so he kind of walks out, he storms out, and he's like, okay, we did it. Struck a chord. I did what I came out to do.
We cut to the Sister Aimee at the Inquisition, and also start via inset panels, the B story, which is a pig and her piglets, and they're eating shit.
And I
maybe
viewed
each
this-
other.
Right. Well, I viewed this to be like they're corralling these humans and treating them as if they were like livestock, treating them like shit. And as we see the like rise of this pig and it's shit eating, we see her interrogating more until they both kind of just like are done.
Yeah, it sort of makes me realize that like we've got the POV of the aristocrats and the fringe of society vigilantes. I would kind of like a character here who is like a Lucas Ottoman type person, like a regular person. They don't even have to be investigating. Just like it's never really clear like what life looks like for these people who are like plugged into Grendel media and church services all day long.
Right. Kind of like the Batman Grendel thing, how we have those two main female characters who kind of
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean the whole thing is about them and how enough said.
Enough said. All right, next page we continue to see.
Yeah, the Orion narration during the Inquisition is all about, I didn't look it up, supposedly historical Inquisition information of just like how terrible they are. And I was like, it doesn't matter if you look it up or not. If it's true, it's terrible. If it's fiction, they were terrible anyway. It doesn't matter.
Well, and also that someone published in the 16th century published a how-to manual on the process of interrogation. And so he's talking about it, how you interrogate and they don't speak, and you raise the bar, you strip them naked, you start flogging them, you hang them up, and you do all these things to make it worse and worse and worse. Again, we're seeing it the same for the pigs, like getting worse, getting more things. They're not finding anything to eat. There's only a circle, a square, and a triangle. I was not sure about these pigs. I like this final panel for sure. Again, Pandora-esque. And very these Bernieisms too, these wavy lines, the circles. Yeah,
I mean that's what I think of when I think of his issues here, is the way that he found to put his little unique mark making in here. But again, this is this thing with the airbrush on her mother Amy's eyeglasses is fantastic.
Love it.
Looks great. So they're rounding up every subversive that they can find. That's just what's going on.
Right, but I mean,
it
also seems like they're not even being that, like they're not even trying hard to dig deep for like the true subversives. It just seems like if you're a registered Catholic, they'll just be like pick you up.
Yeah, it's an excuse to get rid of anyone that's not a diehard.
Right. And I mean, this guy seems to me to have a look of like Jesus. It looks kind of like Jesus. He's got the long hair, the beard. So maybe there's some symbolism there as we, I'm saying on page 9 now, and we pan up and we see the cigarette of Pellin Cross, and he's talking to the Pope Innocent, and they're kind of like, we're not getting anywhere. And he's like, aren't we?
I suppose. Every time we go to this place where it's like a one-way mirror glass ceiling. I think it's on the next page. I think it's like a very similar transition where we pull out, but it's kind of unique geometrically here because of that, like very shape designy flatness that Bernie and John are working here. There's really, really interesting things.
Like
the Funky Town comes out
and then goes up, like pans.
Yeah, the perspective is done in a very unique way. It's like forced a little bit and a little bit off kilter, and it looks like it's done that way on purpose.
Agreed. Yeah.
Cool.
Cool. Yeah, the next page they're continuing to speak about what's further going on.
I really like this spread.
No, yeah. Also, too, this is he says, what are you drinking? He says it's not wine. This is a colonic I take regularly, and I think that is a bit of foreshadowing to the reveal in the later episodes.
Yeah, that's almost straight out of Dracula. Never drink wine. I love the colors on this page. They're really, really good.
Yeah, the painting, especially page 11, panel 3 of Pelham's coat. I mean, that's beautiful.
Oh yeah, that's fantastic. The flickering, the flame light that's being filtered through that glass back onto them. The marks that it uses have so much flavor. Really nice.
Yeah.
This is where he tips his hand and says, "Oh yeah, I know Otto too." So that.
And they're like,
really is. Yeah, it really is like COP and the church are kind of perched above the corporations and the systems, and in a position to do long-lasting damage to a fractured society.
Yeah, and it's the newly formed commission, which I think is the different heads of those businesses from the different
right.
And
now,
that's like we'll see later on.
I wasn't sure if they refer to that as the board.
Oh, do they?
And I think Orion is the commission.
Right, that investigates church expenditures. Yeah, so that is, you're right. That is Orion and his peeps.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
Really cool. This is, I love this scene. And then you turn the page and you can just see the guy with the black ceiling.
Right, okay, yeah, you see, yeah, he's hanging from it, 50 pounds.
Oh, yeah, okay. Right, the pig is gorging itself on its own dreadful paranoia.
Yeah. As the guy is getting tortured further, his arms are coming up behind his back like that, and she is just she's praying for him,
yeah, it's like the ultimate in gaslight. It's crazy. I was a little confused by this scene of Sherry Kniff and her architectural model.
Yes.
I don't remember what happened here.
It's like Doc Brown having that one where he's showing Marty.
Exactly. That's what I thought it was.
It's not to scale. Please forgive me. It's not to scale. No, Doc. It's fun.
It's not. If I forgive the crudity of this model, I don't have time to paint it. I really. I mean, it's a very. It's a good symbol for Orion to hold this little puppet in his hand.
Right, and how they're like overlooking the city. Are they like? Do they have the best for the city in mind? Here, these kind of like overseers. So yeah, you're right. It is a good metaphor.
This is where Sherry tells him, not so subtly, that she knows he's one of the Deva princes.
Right.
And
she says it's a deviation from. Yeah. He's like she surprised me with the joke. I thought she
looks exhausted. Yeah,
she does. Yeah, that's good actually. Cool. And so in the next
Sherry's quite on the ball. He wishes he could say the same of his dark horse fraternity. Okay.
Right. And then he say he could love her. Like he's like in a different time and place. Maybe I could love her. And here we get onto the dates.
I think that he is very wrapped up in knowing that he's in this moment of his destiny and sort of feeling like, I could love her if I wasn't, doing what I do.
Yeah, wasn't trying to.
But I must, because I'm a man of destiny, and Yeah. Well, if I wasn't with my sisters,
Yeah, right. Who make me so happy. Well, on the next page, we get into the Deva princesses stuff and princes, and here's where they're talking.
That's in the reboot. They'll be the Deva princesses.
Princesses, yeah, exactly. And so here's where in season 7.
Yeah. Please God, we get there. That would be incredible. This is he quits, right?
He quits. He gets pissed off because they're kind of trying to force his hand into not doing what he was really setting out to do. I feel like
there's a lot. We were talking about this. The rhythm of the plotting here is back and forth, this and that. And he will, he won't, and it's a bit much.
Mm-hmm.
But nothing helps him relax more. Oh, doesn't he leave him like, yeah, we're gonna kill?
Well, he's like, yeah, and I'm done waiting for you guys to like decide on something. I don't want to be ruled by a committee. Like I have momentum and I want to keep it up. And if you guys are trying to hold me back, fuck you, I'm out. And he walks out and he's like, a certain chill runs down the neck that comes with the decisions that you know will affect the rest of your life.
He can't wait to get into his leotard.
Panel 6 here is so very Bernie, man. That is absolute Bernie right there. The
That's Funky Town. Oh no, the close up.
Panel
Yeah,
4, 5, 6.
it is burnt. No, I know what you're talking about. The close up.
7, yeah. Yep. Panel 7. Yep, the close up.
It almost has a Charles Burns
Oh yeah, exactly.
quality to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or a Los Bros, but it's definitely Bernie.
Yeah, on the next page, they are working it out here. They're thinking, they're talking. They all are so perfectly fit, and when they're on the beams, they're able to talk out all the stuff that's going on, and they're kind of saying,
yeah. You want to see Bernie in action? In all these sets of, it's on the rings, it's on his chest, it's on his knees. Bernie will do hatches in black and then white,
a white line
in wiggle.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of great reductive work going on there with the
I like
white
that
out.
too. I've been trying to work on that a little bit in my Procreate work.
Yeah, it's got to be fine. Yeah, Procreate's it's the best. You can do anything.
It's really fun. It's really good.
It's the best.
All right, so now they're kind of saying like, now you're unfettered, you're unrestricted, you can go and do your thing. So like, focus, do your shit. You're Orion Asante, like do your shit. Let's do it. He's like, all right, I feel okay. Let's go.
Man of destiny.
Yeah, let's have sex now. Okay, cool. That felt good.
So Fadi tells him that they have nukes, that the church has nukes. Is that what
she finds like a thing from the 50s and 60s, 1950s and 60s, which is like a blueprint of a nuke. Yeah, and he's like, holy shit!
Found an old nuke.
The church has
it's
a nuke.
Forbidden. You know, after the Holocaust,
right?
Those are taboo. This is the first time we're hearing of that, which is interesting.
Exactly, referring back to the
that's like in Dune. That's the same deal.
Oh yeah. All right. And so he's like, holy shit, I gotta tell Sherry now. He's on the phone with her, and it moves things a little bit, and now he's in front of the commission, the board. Yeah. And they have 3 things that are going against it. I'm gonna try to quickly say. First, the commission shall retain the right to request fully and legally any disk or information format currently held by the church. So if they have any questions, if there's anything that they want to know, the church is unable to hide any of its,
full seizure of records.
Right. You got to open that closet so that we can.
And you can't say no. That's number 2. You're not allowed to say no.
The church is forbidden by the board to refuse any such request. Yeah. And then the second thing, the commission shall retain the right to limit, but never to eradicate, church broadcasting to whatever number of frequencies that it deems fit, which we see happen later. That's crazy. Is like, yeah, you can't be on NBC, CBS, and TNT and Comedy Central,
But you do have the right to broadcast. You have the right to broadcast, but as much as we say you do.
But you can only. But we're gonna put you over on WMPT public television only in And then the third thing is the commission shall retain the right, with a 1-week notice, to terminate any and all Vatican/COP transactions that are either currently in effect or that may occur within the next 3-week period.
Well, what about afterwards?
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't understand how they think. It's like you got to bring in the army. If Trump said, I'm not leaving the White House, you bring in the National Guard to drag him out, I guess. I don't know. Like, how do you make them comply? That's why it's such a challenge.
Right. And especially when, and that's maybe what they're trying to battle too, is like, how do you get, because there's no one above them, so how do you get these people who are at the top of the food chain? How do you get them to comply, especially when you've got someone like Pope Innocent at the top there?
Well, I guess with the broadcasting is that because they run all the media, so it is ultimately their say, right? And then we see Otto Goldwyn in the bottom right, and I guess he sees Sherry winking.
Yeah,
at
that's what I was thinking. Yeah, exactly.
And also, he's painted into a corner. He doesn't have a move.
But he kind of knows. Like he says here again, I was an optimistic fool.
Who, Otto?
No, that's what Orion says.
Orion says again. Yeah, well, you gotta learn the hard way. Ooh, some fencing. That's always
you learn. Yeah,
that's always good for Grendeling. I love how things that are of Hunter recur and repeat themselves in the different avatars.
I like that too. Yeah.
That's a really fun piece.
And they even say the word prime, and I was just like, oh my gosh, we got a Hunter reference and a prime reference.
Oh yeah.
But it's not really. Yep. And so he gets beat. Orion gets beat, and then as his sisters continue, someone, one of his servants says, "Excuse me, sir, you gotta call." Goes
This was
upstairs.
definitely a place where I felt like it was just too dense. Like I didn't need the image of the guy and the captions. Like there's a much simpler way to get that done.
Right.
And it
Maybe
was
an
one of
inset or something.
several places in this issue where it just felt like there was too much going on.
Interesting.
I think all the art and storytelling is really, really crystal clear. I think that mixing the really terse single word balloons with other like full complete thoughts has pretty mixed results, especially when we're constantly trying to keep the thread of Orion's narrative captions.
Right.
And there's media and comms and chatter and Robert Altman stuff going on. I would just read all the orange stuff. I would scan the page visually, read the orange, and then I would like read the orange with the words in alternation.
Yeah, I kind of would do that too, especially when Orion's really on a run, and his thought is really going. I would kind of do that, and then all right. So now he's up. He went and got on the phone. He got on the vid chat with Sherry, and she's like, "Sorry to interrupt, but I just got a call. I was called in now to be interrogated. Like someone named me. Someone pointed me out." And like, I have to go in on the chopping block now as we see this like young man.
The literal chopping block.
Yeah, for real. And he's just
Panel 3 is one of Joe's absolute best.
So good.
Look at the frisket, the airbrush that he masks in the top right corner, that dark green that kind of defines the shape of his head. Really nice stuff.
So good. Again, the chill ran down his spine, and now we see the pigs again as like a new person is on, is getting about to get interrogated. It's kind of like a fresh pig we're seeing.
Sherry was a registered Catholic, although not a devout one. She had to answer such a summons.
Yeah,
I guess
it's the same. It's like jury duty. Yeah, it's like jury duty. Like you have to do it.
Like when my friend told me that the Pope was his king.
Yeah.
I was like, oh,
like,
I guess so.
Sweet, dude. All right, so we continue, and they're like, okay, so Orion's like, we can't do this. Sherry is not going to get on the chopping block. So he hits up Fatty, old Dirt Master Fatty. And she's like, okay, yeah, I found him. I got him on video with a girl.
This is him. This is the guy who says that Sherry is a heretic. I was the one really confused by this.
She found out that this is the person who they blackmailed already through the church, tried to blackmail into like, I'm guessing Otto Goldwyn told the Pope's like, we need to get someone to get Sherry out of the way. So he was like, he lied and said this, and then Fatty was like, I don't think so, brah. We got this.
I'm a little okay. I mean, why don't they just get someone who's clean, force someone who's clean to make
they don't know anyone clean?
I don't know.
There isn't anyone.
Anyway, this guy's getting interrogated, and
well, no, this is him. This is him being like, I confess, I made all that up about Sherry Kniff. She's fine. She should be off the chopping block. And as we see, Pope Innocent fucking freaking out. And Orion's like,
he then commits.
Oh yeah, right. He does exactly right on TV.
He pulls a gun out of his bag.
Yeah, because he's like, my life's over. And
I just feel like, why can't they just get another guy? Why can't they get someone else to call in Sherry Kniff?
Probably could. They're probably they might,
because he's freaking out. I don't know.
Yeah,
I just wasn't sure.
And Orion's like, I wish I could see the look on his face. Oh man. And then that's, it just seems like, oh my God, my brain, I'm having a brain fire. What's this cop's name?
Felon Cross.
Felon Cross is just exhaling on a cig again. I know cigarettes are like out of popularity in movie, film, and TV and shit today, but you simply cannot, and you simply cannot like do that with anything else. Like when you see someone like lean back in a chair, take a drag off a cigarette and blow it, there's nothing else that conveys that. Like I feel like that can convey the same thing. So like Felon Cross is doing that, and he's just like, yep, That's it. And they're like, okay, I told you that creature was jelly. We got to find something else. There's another way. And they're like, we got to find another way to bring down this committee. Like, we won't stop. Can't stop, won't stop. On the next page, Pellin is kind of just like, did you know that we got to find a way to strip him of power? And did you know he's one of those Deva princes? And Pope's like, no, I did not know that.
Yes, that's a big piece of info. Really nice job, man. Yeah. He looks so sinister.
He really does.
And he's like, well, like, this is working out great. Let's go further. Tell me more.
Yeah.
What more can you do for me?
Yeah. How far are you willing to go?
Now, this is a call on the next page between, I believe, the Pope of Africa.
Correct.
And it's I think that they talked about maybe in the Tim Sale issue that between.
Well, it says here the Catholic Church divided continentally for 3 centuries. So, yeah.
Samuel Bantu Jones.
Mm-hmm.
He dripped holiness from his very being.
Yeah. And well, yeah. And he's saying like, yeah, even I don't like Pope Innocent. He's like messed. He's
right
off his rocker. He's kind of crazy, but he has this piece of information. You need to talk to the guy from South America because Pope Innocent has this huge order of bananas that he gets all the time. A ton of bananas. Oh, for his mandrill?
Yeah, it's for his mandrill.
I guess. I don't know.
It's kind
of like it's a clue.
It's a clue, and it's absurd, and it's treated as absurd in the story and in the marketing and in this moment.
Yeah.
All
right.
It's probably the one big funny thing.
We got some fun we got some fun Bernieisms here right behind Orion on the seat on his chair in the last panel. He's got some swirlies there. Great job,
for sure. Oh, so good. Look how he does that.
All right. And so Pope Innocent is just like pissed, and he's like, Lucas is trying to tell him a little bit about the board and the Tower Commission as we're interspersed with the Deva princes kind of being like, let's like do this thread, and then we'll get back to Pope. But the Deva princesses are kind of like, so we're meeting now without the North Wind, without Orion. And, now that he's not here, let's just freaking move forward. Who's down to assassinate? And they're all kind of like, I guess, let's do it. Let's do it. And they all vote to assassinate and to make a move on.
And the ever present phrase, meeting adjourned.
Yeah. And then so we go back to Pope Innocent, and Lucas is kind of like, we've been canceled on 3 networks and we're only going to be seen on our regular channel. So this is the board cracking down, and he's super pissed. He freaking punches the wall with a blam. He is not happy.
Joe's work on the last panel of 24. There's so much volume in Lucas's like yarmulke and the Pope's cape. It's really incredible work.
Yeah, and the depth of field that's created with just those little pops of pink, like at the bottom of like what is the background or what is the sky as he heads out to his pulpit. Mm-hmm. Really cool. And so on the next page, we get a very interesting kind of like sideways panel with the word bubbles that kind of flare out. Really cool.
That would work a lot better if it was animated because you could rotate the camera 90 degrees as you're moving down. Yeah.
Yep. All right, so now he's looking out and he's preaching, and we see these 2 security guys who are kind of looking out. They're saying the bowl, is completely surrounded by people.
No, he says it's bigger than the Nova Bowl football game.
Oh,
it's bigger than when we fill a stadium for athletics.
Well, but then he's like, no wonder the word from the top is tight. We've got 4 divisions just around the square. So like there is a lot of security.
Yes.
Turn the page. Sure hope it all goes smooth. No shit. And guess what, brah? It ain't gonna be smooth.
Maybe one of the best pages in the storyline so far.
Sick. Eppy descends
again. An ending that we've seen like 3 times, right? Arjun sneaking up on someone or Grendel getting the drop on. It's like a very classic like Hunter way to end the story. And then Bernie and the low angle shots and Joe, everyone really came together on this page. Unbelievable.
All right, cool. Good. So next week, Grendel number 28 as Pellin Cross and Pope Innocent. What do we decide? 32? 42?
52.
52.
I don't
Comes
remember.
to terms. Orion delivers some extremely explosive information to the board. Meanwhile, the Deva princes have got some explaining to do. Devils Driven is written by Matt Wagner, penciled by J.K. Snyder, inked by guest artist Bernie Moreau, and features hand-painted color by Joe Matt. Hell yeah, it does.
And what hand-painted color? It's almost a shame when you put it next to the very competent and professional work that Jeremy Cox did. Grendel news. I don't think we've talked about the new omnibus editions that were announced.
Right. Yeah, that's huge.
Mm-hmm. So I'm sure
it
that
seems
those
like
will be
they're
the same.
And they're going to be big size. They're going to be like normal trade size, not the small omnibus size. Hardback, I think they said. And I guess we'll see what
I think they're soft.
Oh, you think they're soft?
I think they're soft because it's a very nice price point for 600-page books.
Oh, word. So I wonder what color they're going to proceed with. I guess they'll probably proceed with the Jeremy Cox coloring. I don't feel like they're going to recolor.
I think so. I think it's probably impossible to do this. However, you could scan this at 1200.
Well, what I'm really thinking about is because if we're starting with Hunter, are they going to reproduce? I wish they would. No slight to Chris from Madhouse or anyone who recolored Devil by the Deed. I think they should use that original Devil by the Deed coloring, Matt's original coloring or Bernie's coloring.
Matt's original.
Yeah,
I agree with you. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that we're going to see any changes on the color. Yeah, but we've seen some new Matt and Brennan pieces for that. Those have been nice.
Great. The covers, yep.
And Matt said that sit tight. I believe his words were, there will be a wide range of new Grendel merch.
He did say that. Yes,
a wide range.
That's so great.
One can only mugs
entering
and
the salad days
toys would be great.
Yeah,
it's really great. I would love to see the PVC set come back. That would be
I would like
good
some,
for me.
Yeah, some major action figs or some shirts, and it's gonna be great.
I really can't wait for the show. I think that I've been thinking a lot about adaptation of books and how things have to be changed to make a book or a novel or a comic work on film, and I'm getting behind that idea. I think that there are a lot of really incredible opportunities to expand and tighten the flow of this story, and I can't wait to see not only what they do in the first season, but what the life of this show is. And it would take 3 or 4 seasons at least to get to this point.
Oh yeah,
at least.
Yeah.
So I would love to see it happen.
What do you do? A season of Hunter, a season of Christine, a season of Brian?
I would do a season and a half of Hunter, and then Christine stuff, and then add a lot more Christine stuff, and then Christine becomes Grendel at the end of season 2.
Man,
that's sick. What I would do.
Yeah,
that's what I would do.
Well, even a framing mechanism at the beginning of season 1, episode 1, of Christine writing it, and you have a female narrator from the start. That'd be cool.
I think Christine would have been cast if that would be. I think that.
But maybe they're keeping it.
Yeah, they're keeping it so that we don't know what's going to happen.
Exactly. That's cool. I like when they do that. I love when they do stuff like that.
Eli, the next episode that we record will be together. Biachad mishpocha.
Yes,
terrific.
Dude. I'm so excited. Next week, Ben and I will be together. We're going to record a few episodes. Like I said, we're going to do a YouTube lives or 2. Hopefully, we're going to be in person with a few creators. We're going to be masked up. We're going to be safe. We're both boosted. So we're doing it safe, and we're doing it the right way.
That's right. Be safe, everyone.
Be safe. Vivat Grendel. And keep on
Grendel.
Grendeling.
I like this one. I like to look at it. Very nice artwork.